Hello and welcome to Trendz. My name is Spumelele Zondi, in for Refile Muilwa. Let's take a look at some of the top African entertainment stories for the week. The highly successful SA UK season project, which has been running for the past 2 years, draws to a close next month. Fashion lovers were spoiled for choice at the grand opening of a fashion brand store in Sandton. The Market Theatre in Johannesburg is showcasing a play titled My Story, directed by hip-hop artist Zulu Boy. The production portrays how different kinds of music from around the world have influenced music in South Africa. The highly successful SA UK season project, which has been running for the past 2 years, will draw to a close next month. Supported by the Department of Arts and Culture, the project has seen more than 450 artists and actors from 6 provinces in South Africa exposed to audiences totaling more than 500,000 people in the United Kingdom.
A highlight on the season's tour, the Contemporary African Art Fair. Jaw-dropping artworks by South African artists. The exhibition conceived is in reference to the 54 countries constituting the African continent. 8 South African galleries and 28 participants were involved. A perfect example of how the SA UK Seasons project springboards young and upcoming artists into the international spotlight. From humble beginnings making bracelets and necklaces to these sought-after pieces.
There was a lady there who was interested of doing beads, to take beads further. So she said to us she wants us to meet us in Cape Town, in a town. So she said she wants to show us how to bead on board. So it was a new technique.
Typically a piece like the one behind me would take 5 people about 6 weeks to bead.
Given the fact that some of these pieces are commanding prices in excess of 200,000 Rand, proves that South African artists are more than capable of holding their own with their international counterparts. Conway Hall in London is where the history of New Brighton Township is being played out.
What a mess!
A long way from home and loving it. Township Connections is a series of collaborative workshops that share experiences, culture, artistic concepts and explore urban life in inner cities of the UK and South African townships. Leading the charge is established professional Zwaim Jajima and his band of merry men.
The beauty about our democracy after '94, our government created an enabling environment whereby talking to different nations like United Kingdom to forge relations in terms of seeing the artists to making a platform so that the artists from South Africa can prosper in terms of going places, in terms of sharing the stories from the South African side.
They might be from the dusty streets of the township, but they ooze talent, using New Brighton as a backdrop for inspiration.
There's much to tell about New Brighton. There's lots of stories that happened in New Brighton, and a lot of inspiring people that are from New Brighton, heroes of South Africa from New Brighton. I can say New Brighton's got a great history amongst in South Africa, so it's nice today to be able to share with other people from here in London.
The kickstart from the Department of Arts and Culture is not lost on the actors.
There are activities and there are efforts to change and develop the theatre scenario and acting scenario in South Africa. There have been contributions made before we enter the industry, developments, platforms and transformation, but the process is still going.
The South Africa United Kingdom Seasons, it's a project which is supported by the South African Department of Arts and Culture and the British Council. The purpose is to utilize arts to promote people-to-people contact between the 2 countries, creative industries, and to offer our artists an opportunity to collaborate.
The Seasons project has proved so successful, organisers are looking to expand its footprint. The good news is that South Africa is currently in discussions with Russia as the next stop on the season agenda. Janine Lee, SABC News, London.
It's that time of the year again for the annual Chevrolet Feather Awards. 7 years into the awards, categories such as Best Hunk and Drama Queen of the Year remain favorites. The founder of the awards, Tami Kutlolo, is here to tell us more. Hello and welcome, Tami.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right.
Good, good.
Now, Tami, can you tell us about the concept behind the Feather Awards?
Wow, okay. Simple. Gay people or gay community giving a pat on the back to individuals that empower that community. Simple.
Some of the categories. I just read that there's Drama Queen of the Year, Best Hung. So it's all fun and games, really, is it?
No, I think the awards themselves are lighthearted. They're all exciting. It's about, you know, a night of letting your hair loose, laughing at ourselves as people in the industry. As, of course, with carrying some of the most important messages that affect the community at large. So you see, like, people always talk about the category Drama Queen because it's exciting and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been nominated there, or hung, or even fag hag, you know, which is one of my favorite category for like a simple reason, you know. People who are seen as allies to the community must be celebrated, and we must begin to see them beyond the term fag hag. That for me is one of the most important award categories.
But you are not only honoring people who are in the gay community, are you?
Oh, absolutely. So it's not, the recipients are not necessarily gay. It could be anyone. It could be any South African. I mean, this year we've extended it into Africa. People who are doing phenomenal work. Like I said, it's about looking at those people who empower this minority of people and say, you're doing great work. Thank you for supporting us. We do work with you in business. Corporates, you're hiring more gay people. Radio, in terms of, in fact, media as a whole, you're reporting more on LGBTI issues. So there are various things that we kind of look at with feathers.
Rainbow Africa, that's your theme.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned that you're extending it to the rest of the African continent.
Yeah.
How important is that?
I think as the hope of the continent, being South Africa, and with the constitution that we always celebrate and highlight, you know, gay people being able to marry, same-sex couples, being allowed to marry and adopt, it is important for us to kind of reach out to the rest of the continent and our brothers and sisters who are struggling. I mean, we all know that it's an issue to be gay in almost 40 countries on the continent, and we've got to give them that kind of hope. And they've got to come here and find out how we did it, how to continue with the struggle and the fight, how to negotiate for their own freedom. I mean, I can't believe that this day and age we're still negotiating human rights, basic human rights. So I think it's important. We're bringing 7 activists that are coming from different parts of the continent just to come and celebrate with us and, you know, kind of forge partnerships on some of the work that they do. Because, you know, Feathers does do other things outside of the glitz and glamour part, right?
Why have you chosen that, though? Because why have you chosen to do other things? Because a lot of people think of award ceremonies as just a party where people go and let their hair down and drink and listen to music. But why have you decided to go the activist route, if you will?
I think that Feathers, I mean, when we started in the beginning, people were like, this is just another big party and gay people, and it's now a celebrity that you're not even seeing a representation of gay people. And I'm like, you know, you've got to get to a point where you allow people to have conversations. We don't do most of the advocacy work apart from, you know, running these dialogues that we have on access to health, community safety. There are various issues that gay people have here in South Africa and on the continent. So that's a side dish of the things that we do, and then everything culminates into the Feather Awards on the 12th of November.
All right, thank you very much, Tami Kutlolo, founder of the Feather Awards.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now, we all love Fashion Week, and we love to be decked out in the latest fashion brands. But what we see on the runways is not always easy to incorporate in everyday wear. That's why we have our retail stores, and one that created quite a hype in South Africa recently was the opening of the H&M store in Sandton this past week. And, of course, Trendz was there.
I'm here at the official red carpet launch of the H&M store, the second one to hit South Africa, here in Sandton City. And as you know, this event is only for VIPs, which is exactly why I'm here. Swedish fashion and lifestyle retailer Hennes & Mauritz H&M gave VIP guests and certain media a sneak peek and privileged shopping experience at the store as it had its grand red carpet opening this week.
A lot of people asked us, in which city are you going to open first? And we don't see it as, Cape Town first, Joburg second. We see it as, we're launching in South Africa at the same time. And that's why, the openings are so close to each other.
H&M, which already has stores in Morocco and Egypt, joins a growing number of global fashion retailers who have recently expanded into South Africa with plans to use the market as a stepping stone into other sub-Saharan African countries. H&M has also signed deals with local factories in Ethiopia, Kenya, Tunisia and Egypt to outsource clothing production.
There's so much in the store and the collection is so beautiful, our current spring collection. I would say the big maxi dresses, to wear to the beach in a spicy color, most definitely one of my favorites.
The store is a fashionista's heaven, offering a 20% discount on its wares, and this kept clothes flying off the shelves and people whizzing around the shop in hopes that they would find the perfect item in their size. It's akin to our very own Woolies, a default store for good, wearable, trendy clothing for men, women, teens, kids and babies. Nearly every international fashion brand store you can think of, from Prada to Burberry to Lisby London, is already in South Africa. So H&M will really just be joining the ever-expanding competition. So what's the big deal?
The big deal with H&M is that we are one of the world's largest fashion retailers. We're currently present in 61 markets, South Africa being the 61st. And we are basically a democratic fashion company. We offer fashion and quality at the best price in a sustainable way to customers. From a price point of view, customers can pick up a basic t-shirt for under 100 Rand in our stores, accessories, ladies, menswear, kidswear. In Cape Town we've got home. And tonight is our VIP preview of our Johannesburg store launch.
The ACT Lifetime Achievement Awards and the Impact Award for Young Professionals took place at the Maslow Hotel in Johannesburg. They're organized by the Arts and Culture Trust. The awards seek to honor arts professionals who have made a positive contribution in the arts industry and have done well in their working careers as well.
This year, the Arts and Culture Trust celebrates 20 years in existence. For 18 years, the Trust has hosted award ceremonies like this one, where the work of artists in the country is celebrated and recognized. Ex-CEO Peter Jacobs shares with us his happy moments and what ACT is all about.
Well, the Arts and Culture Trust has a number of programs. The annual ACT Awards is one of the programs we implement, and we've started with it in 1998. So this is the 18th edition of the awards. And tonight we will be awarding 6 Lifetime Achievement Awards and 6 Impact Awards for young professionals. We're looking at young professionals who have made an impact during the first 5 years of their professional careers and who have really delivered and produced work, consistently produced quality work against all odds.
The Life Achievement Awards were the biggest accolades of the night. They recognize legends in the art industry. They included Kaifa Semenya, who was honored for his long-lived life in music.
I never dreamed that one day I would stand here being a victim of Sibongile's, machinations. Never thought about that. But during all that period when I was a kid, I used to look up to these people, Makei Davashe. I wanted to be like him. I really did. I wanted to be like Makei Davashe. I did not have any idea of where I will end and what I was going to do, but I just wanted to be like them.
Omar Bashar is the acclaimed photographer. Poet and author Don Matera for literature.
This land south of Africa, this land, the whole land, each grain of sand, north to south, east to west, the given earth, the best land, the prostrate valleys, the angry mountains, the smiling hills.
And Alfred Hinkle for his phenomenal dancing skills and choreography amongst the others.
This award couldn't have come at a better time. it is so seriously going to help us to raise a couple of extra bucks for a really important project.
On the other hand, the Impact Awards also acknowledge young professionals in the arts who have their own impact in the art industry. One amongst many was a dancer from the Northern Cape, Litlohonolo Nche.
When I first heard that I'm nominated, I'm shortlisted for the awards, I couldn't stop crying, everywhere, the bank queues, I would go to shopping and just in the middle of the queue, I would just cry and cry. And it was the first time ever in my life I've been acknowledged for something that I really love and something that I really, I'm passionate about. And for me, it means that there are many, many opportunities that are going to be opened for me.
The Amandla Freedom Ensemble entertained the audiences with their jazzy classic sounds, which seemed rather relaxed and enjoyed the slow night. ACT aims to increase the amount of funding available for arts and culture initiatives and to apply funding into projects that can make a vital contribution to society.
We'll be back after this short break. Stay with Trendz. Welcome back, you're still on Trendz. Imagine a plant standing as it would in the great outdoors, but only it's in your living room. And it's made of bronze. This is the work of Cape Town-based artist Nick Bladen, who visited Johannesburg this past week, exhibiting his exquisite replicas of plant matter.
Under a golden sunset in the Northern Cape is Twalu Kalahari Nature Reserve, a privately owned reserve which is drawing in artistic talents from around the country. A marriage of sorts which captures the essence of this place and moves it into a contemporary world.
Acclaimed South African sculptor and jeweler Nick Bladen is known for his intricate botanical depictions. And we're here at the Everard Reed Gallery in Rosebank, Johannesburg, where Bladen's exhibition is being held.
Bladen started out as a dental technician and made a career change some 15 years ago. He is now a bronze sculptor, recreating botanical matter into beautiful works of art.
I think being completely studio bound and and having this this career of making plants in bronze, there have been, it was like anything really, when you start something new and it works and there's magic involved, and then one day it sort of becomes a bit formulaic, and Twalu allowed us to actually be quiet. We had they basically gave us a house in the sticks, in the middle of the sticks. With a workshop, just a little short walk from there, and free rein, and I could really go into the wilderness and actually listen and see and go and explore and actually find the plants that needed to be depicted as sculptures.
Bronze is a key element in Bladen's creations. He explains how he casts an exact replica of plants into bronze.
The process involves the basics of lost wax casting, and that is a process where you have a wax object, and then with molding materials such as plaster of Paris or in the modern foundries, they use a ceramic shell. You then cover your wax object with your molding material, and when that molding material sets hard, it goes into an oven. The wax then, as the temperature rises, the wax melts out of the mold, and what you're left with is a cavity create in the shape of the former wax piece, captured by your molding material.
Lee Voigt was another artist working her magic in the Kalahari under the Twalu project, depicting nature through painting. Duncan McFadden, the man who headed the Twalu project, gives some insight into its significance.
The project really, it's the first time that's been done in the Kalahari. He captures the uniqueness of these plants. So what we're getting here are perfect replicas of these plants. And not only that, they are exact replicas. So it's amazing. Even if there's insect damage on the leaves, one captures that. So one gets an essence of these plants in the Kalahari.
The popularity of this reserve is seemingly growing, with future plans for art projects in the pipeline, attempting to preserve this nature in its almost real form.
The 4th Annual South African Hip Hop Awards nominations are out. The voting lines are open for the public to pick up their favorite hip hop artists in South Africa. The nominations have created quite a stir in social media. We're joined by the organizer, Rashid K, to tell us more about these awards. Hello and welcome, Rashid.
Thank you for having me.
Rashid, let's talk about how the nominations are done.
The nominations, we have a timeline. Albums or any material that was released between 15 September 2014 and 15 September 2015 can be submitted for a nomination.
Why did you decide to open it up to the public? Why did you not have a group of judges to select a few?
It's not actually all the categories. There are only 6 categories that are open to the public, and then the rest, because it's 32 categories in total, only 6 are open to the public. We give them a chance to choose a best male, best female, song of the year, best video, and stuff like that.
And you say you require these musicians to have released an album in order for them to be nominated?
Depending on a category. For best male and best female and album of the year, obviously, those require albums, full albums.
And for the rest of the categories?
For the rest of the categories, song of the year, you can have a single, and as long as it's hottest. For example, we have El Tido with Lala Kayon. He only released 1 song this year, and it's a big song. It's nominated for Song of the Year. So you can release 1 song. If it's big, it qualifies to be Song of the Year.
You also are worried, I suppose, about the lack of females that are nominated this year, are you not?
We are very worried. This is our 4th year. We've been having the same problem ever since we started in 2012. We've been holding like workshops after workshops, inviting females, and then they promise, we're going to release albums next year. But it never happened. It's the second time we have 2 nominees in a category. Like we once had that in the past on Best Female. This year we have the same problem.
And who are those nominees, and can you talk a bit about their work?
It's Assessa and Ciro. And the reason they are nominated, they're the only ones who released mixtapes this year. And the mixtapes, we had to adjust because the requirement was an album. So there was not enough females, so we said, okay, we can accommodate mixtapes. So they're the only ones who released mixtapes this year. There's a lot of female rappers out there, like your Nadia, Gigi Lamaine, Fifi Cooper, but they all have
But
singles.
they're releasing singles,
Yes.
or they're featuring on other people's
Yes.
work. Why is that such a problem with female rappers? Why are they not releasing albums?
I think it's they still branding themselves. It doesn't help to release an album with 18 songs that are gonna go to waste. You know, release 1 single, create a bias, release another one and another one until you have a household name.
3 nominations for AKA and Anati's The Saga.
AKA, it's actually he has 7 nominations.
Yeah.
Yes. That's for him. And plus The Saga, where he's featured.
There's been a lot of beef in hip-hop this year.
Yes.
AKA and Anati would be one. So does it play a part in how you choose nominees? Because beef creates a lot of hype.
Yeah. But we don't nominate according to beef. Beef is not a criteria. Although it's going to be fun seeing AKA and Anati, who are beefing, nominated on the same song, because they did the same song together, The Saga, and it's nominated. So if it wins, who's going to collect the award?
Well, yeah, we're all waiting to see who's going to collect the award if it wins.
Yeah.
Well, Rashid K, SA Hip Hop Awards organizer, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, hip-hop music in South Africa has been around for a long time and it continues to evolve, with hip-hop musicians putting a twist here and there to make their songs unique and appealing to their audiences. To celebrate this genre of music, the Market Theatre in Johannesburg is showcasing a play titled My Story, directed by hip-hop artist Zulu Boy. The productions portray how different kinds of music from around the world has influenced music in South Africa.
A first production for Zulu Boy. He has decided to thrill the audience with this theatre piece. Titled My Story, this hip-hop production produced by Native Rhythms Productions in partnership with Ifelia Media and the Market Theatre fuses Gumput's dance, Zion sounds and translation by sign language interpreters. But what inspired Zulu Boy to explore this concept?
My story comes from a collective of things. It comes from travel umhlaba, ukufika Europe, ukubona abantu abase-aging yethu ukuthi benze njani. The youth of Europe, when it comes to theatre, they're with upright bass, they're blue lights, they are telling poetic stories. Laba bantu ngendlela abacabanga ngayo, you know, when I came back to South Africa, I'm thinking, we've got so much talent that has never been captured. It has been captured when it comes to records, but something like Market Theatre coming together with Zulu Boy and doing something like this, it's so amazing. Nobody knows. It could do Broadway sometime, and we could tell our story in the middle of New York.
The usage of sign interpreters in theatrical productions is not that common, but in this production, Zulu Boy explored that because he wanted to include the deaf and the blind community, as they are often left out. He believes this production will create a lasting legacy and a never-imagined work of art before.
If we could motivate good stories in South Africa, my story, and the thing is that I didn't grow up with a father. I've never seen my dad. I don't know what he looks like. But I've taken that and I'm trying to be the best dad I could be for Ringanzam. You know what I mean? It's spinning the whole negative in turning it into a positive. So I think there's so many stories that need to be told in Africa. And my story is one of them.
My Story features some of South Africa's hip-hop artists like Mr. Salvin, Pro Kid, Proverb, Zakwe, and many others. Hip-hop artist turned pastor Mr. Salvin couldn't contain his excitement for being part of this amazing production.
My involvement goes way beyond I even got a call. Me and Zulu Boy go way back. In fact, I was there when he got discovered in Durban when we came to do a launch of my album and Pro Kid's album at that time. So we've got that history. He's a brother to me, and he felt that I have a story to tell through what he listened to the lyrics of my first album.
My Story also intends to leave the audience seeing a reflection of themselves and the society surrounding them through this production.
Durban Nights of Shumaia fame joins us after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Trendz. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, hundreds of music lovers attended this year's Dundee Carnival and Jazz Festival held at the Oval Stadium in Dundee in KwaZulu-Natal this past weekend. Now, popular bands like Mandla Mlangeni, The Muffins, Feya Faku and Naima K performed at the event.
This small historic town of Dundee came alive. Music lovers were taken on a trip down memory lane with sounds like this. Performance catered for both young and old. This carnival was aimed at promoting the local economy and to celebrate South Africa's diverse cultures.
We chose Dundee for two reasons. One, because of its geographical location. It is in the middle of everything that we can speak of in South Africa in terms of distances. Almost 300 kilometers away from Joburg. again another 300 kilometers away from Durban, another 300 kilometers away from Bloemfontein, almost 295 k's from Nelspruit. So geographical speaking, it made sense for us to say Dundee should be the seat for this kind of celebration.
It gives me a pleasure, that this music will never die, The future is still bright for jazz and creative music.
For me, it's really, I see it the other way around. I see it, for me, it's a great opportunity to come here and meet musicians from South Africa. I've been welcomed with so much grace, and it's really hard for me to explain how lucky I feel to be here. I came here a couple of years ago to the Grahamstown Festival, and then I was so lucky to meet Nduduzo Makatini, Ayanda Sikada, and a lot of other musicians from here, and we hooked up and we recorded something later on, and now we're back again. It's really an amazing thing for me to be here.
The town of Dundee has a rich history. It was here in 1879 where the first major encounter in the Anglo-Zulu War between the British Empire and the Zulu Kingdom started, in what was called the Battle of Isandlwana. And now this festival hopes to build social cohesion amongst the South African nation, uniting under one flag. The participation of these musicians in this carnival is linked to their background as the heirs of the struggle for freedom in South Africa and worldwide. Next year, the event hopes to attract more participation of international acts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
Hugh Masekela is a giant of a jazz musician and a pioneer in bringing the voice and spirits of Africa to the West. Recently, he relaunched his memoirs titled Still Grazing. The book chronicles his life as a young man to him becoming an international music icon.
The title of this book, Still Grazing, comes from one of his biggest hits titled Grazing in the Grass, a song which was first released in 1968. Hugh Masekela has touched many through his music, but his tale transcends beyond the world of music, and it is through this book that he hopes to touch many. His life has seen him stumble upon adventure after adventure, often bringing him to the wrong side of events all over the continent. This book chronicles his journeys, including battling for the destruction of apartheid.
It's about my life, and I lived during a very interesting era in the history of human beings, from 1939 till now. And it's basically my chronicles up to 2002. Being an African, and coming from South Africa, life was not necessarily that easy, and I was lucky that music took me to the world. I didn't plan to be known. I just wanted it to be in music, and it has taken me, all over the world. It helped me to stand by the beliefs that I strongly believe in, and the biggest one being that I grew up in a community that was against injustice, and I grew up both in music and in South Africa. So I've always been against injustice, and I've always been driven by the heritage that I come from.
I wanna be there when the people start.
Still Grazing was first released in 2004, but it disappeared more or less without a trace, much to the dismay of Masekela's fans. The book has now officially been relaunched. It also depicts photographs of friends and family and life lived over his 71 years in the music industry. Having recorded more than 40 albums, the first part of this autobiography is written by Ebony magazine editor Michael Cheers and covers Masekela's birth in 1939 to his flight to the USA in 1960. It offers a detailed look at life under an unstable system which included racism, and this drove him to find refuge in music.
The thing that you will find most in the book is the injustices that we've been manipulated into, and also the sufferings of our people, and some of the results of our oppression, one of which is like addiction. I think that we're one of the most addictive countries in the world, and it's evident during our big holiday seasons. And I was affected by that. I think that I talk a lot about it there. And I talk a lot about friendship and family, but mostly about the phenomenon of having made it in spite of all the obstacles.
It is intended to give readers a taste of Hugh Masekela, the musician, while also giving them an impression of Hugh Masekela, the man. Hugh is currently using his global reach to spread word about heritage restoration in Africa, a topic that remains very close to his heart. For Morning Live, I am Musam Khalipi.
Now, they dominated the airwaves this year with Shumaya. Durban Nights is in the studio with us. Hello and welcome, guys. Did you realize that Durban Nights was going to do what it did?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to us. We are surprised, still traumatized right now. Things that we're doing, Kalau Jasmine, it's massive.
Yeah, but is there going to be a follow-up that you are expecting to be as big as Durban Nights?
I don't know. Hey, I think that right now our main focus is to become the greatest. We are trendsetters right now, young trendsetters. So I don't think that anyone could amount to Durban us right now.
Shumaya?
Shumaya. There's another Shumaya in the album. Yeah, it's a track we did with Davito, and it's the first time actually a Kwaito artist has ever featured an international artist in Kwaito. So it's very huge and it's very massive. So we're looking forward to that too. It's another Shumaya.
All right. Did you guys take long and did you actually plan this success, or was it something that happened organically?
Yeah, like when you were in high school, we'd always used to talk about this and how big we're going to be and how we're going to break boundaries in Kwaito. So I think even on stage when we rehearse, we try to do what is not there. We try to when we dress, we try to dress what is not there when it comes to Kwaito. We always try to plan our success and plan, okay, now it's this song, now it's going to be this song, we need a new dance for this song. So it's kind of like that.
Oskido is a major producer. How did you hook up with him?
Wow, that's a big one. Oskido, no one expected Oskido to approach us, Oskido, he's the one that hunted us down first. We got a phone call from him. We all just went crazy. And then after that, he was just like, Allah.
All right. Thank you very much. So you can take it away. Here's Durban Nights with Shumaya.
Masekela.